The king wants to have honest and true discussions to help repair relations with those affected by Britain's role in the trans-Atlantic slave trade. The monarch's goddaughter revealed Charles is ready to speak and believes our nation's role should not be hidden. Fiona Compton, the daughter of former Prime Minister of St. Lucia Sir John Compton, today in Leeds took the king on a tour of her exhibition The World Reimagined Globes project. It was the start of a two-day tour of Yorkshire where the king met with local groups, discussed farming methods and also learned of the region's rich cultural heritage. Fiona, who grew up in St. Lucia but now lives in London, revealed her discussions with Charles have led to mutual agreement on the need for openness when discussing Britain's role in the slave trade. She said, he is ready to have active conversations about Britain's relationship with the slave trade. Future plans about having honest and true discussions about how things can be repaired and how Britain can make some real steps. It's early days and positive conversations and willingness for openness and engagement. The project and conversations is about engaging British history in the slave trade and having open and meaningful conversations about it. The news will be welcomed by campaigners who have called for official apologies from the royal family over the country's and indeed the monarchy's central role in the abhorrent practice. Last November, when witnessing Barbados ditch centuries of British rule to become a republic, Charles visited the island nation to deliver a speech and recognize the appalling atrocity of slavery that forever stains our history. Equality campaigners praised the then Prince of Wales for a grown-up conversation led by a future king. Earlier this year Charles also told aides he believed the slave trade should be taught as widely and as thoroughly as the Holocaust. Ms. Compton, 41, a historian and artist who is an ambassador for the world-famous Notting Hill Carnival in London, added, "It's ongoing conversations. He, Charles, says he is ready to speak on it, he is ready to have conversations and see what work can be done. He has been having the conversations for a while. There's no talk of reparations. It's not solely for the British monarchy, it's for British people to have these conversations. He agrees this is British history, it should not be hidden. In same way we are taught about Holocaust we should be open about speaking about Britain's involvement in the slave trade." The royal family has faced some tough questions over recent months as their links to Britain's involvement in the slave trade are slowly brought back into public conversation. A number of royals visiting Caribbean islands in the past few months have faced protests, calls for an apology, and announcements that countries plan to ditch the monarchy and become a republic. When Prince Edward, the Queen's youngest son, visited St. Lucia at the end of April, one protester demanded the Queen apologize for slavery. Prince William and Princess Kate were also met with protests when they toured the islands in the spring. William later went on to describe the slave trade as abhorrent but stopped short of issuing an apology. Earlier in the day Charles, 73, visited the headquarters of supermarket Morrison's in Bradford. There he was shown demonstrations of cooking and learned how the company was helping customers get to grips with the cost of living crisis. Later in Leeds, the king also met old friends at the Romance to Rebellion exhibition celebrating the Jamaican community. There were photos of his trip to Jamaica House in Leeds in 1987. He spoke to Pansy Patterson, 71, who also met the king on his previous visit. She said afterwards, "We spoke of old memories. I said I saw him back in 1987. It is like history. Seeing him then and now. It is so important to me after all these years." Tomorrow Charles will be joined by the Queen Consort in York where they will unveil a statue of the late Queen. They will then travel to Doncaster to congratulate the former town on becoming one of the UK's newest cities.